tell us about the Global Peace campaign. Prof, you'd have to unmute for us so we can hear you. Yes, right.
Good evening. The Global Peace Mission campaign is something that we are targeting leadership across the globe to achieve global peace. You know, global peace is something that is what the whole world is looking for now. This is a subject now, let there be peace. And for the past 33 years, that is what I've been preparing myself for this particular mission of peace. So on the 10th of April, I think there was a public lecture on how to achieve global peace. And we made a 5 years plan. We set off a 5 years plan to achieve this global objective. And what we are trying to do is to form peace associations in almost every country of the world and make members and link them up into an international movement for peace building. So far, this is what we put in place. And, you know, we call something comprehensive advocacy peace strategy. That's what we put in place. And it is not easy to talk about. It's something voluminous. So this is just the gist. Yes, we put this in place for 5 years to be able to get global peace mission in every country.
Okay, so it's a 5-year plan. To what extent are you going? And I'm saying that because are you just focused on Africa or which other continents across the world? What do you intend to do really? Are you being selective about the approach or you're going everywhere?
Yes, I think for every year, we targeted about 40 countries. So within the 5 years, we'll be able to get to all the countries in the world. You know, for the first year, because we want to also deepen democracy, we'll start with Ghana, and we're making peace lectures, even in parliament, to the security services, and to those who really matter in the society, who can help us achieve this global objective. And after Ghana, I think we're moving to other countries to also form these peace associations. And you know, the reason why we land the 5-year strategy plan is also to invite people from all over the world to join hands with us so that to make it easier. It is not something that we alone can do unless we join hands with other major stakeholders. But first, the leadership is what we are actually targeting. I know leadership is not only about presidents of states or whatever. Even a father of a home is a leader, and is also a target. So it's a very broad mission, but because it's about the world leaders are the most targeted population.
I get the approach now, but why Ghana? And why is the issue of peace and stability very much relevant to a nation which is touted to be the beacon of democracy? The belief is we're safe, our democracy is not under threat, except that you think otherwise. So why start from Ghana anyway?
One, charity begins at home. Even though there's peace in Ghana, but we are not only talking about absence of war. We have to prevent wars, and we have to prevent conflicts even at the election times. So what we are trying to do is to establish a peaceful atmosphere for the incoming election, that's 2024. Yes, and the target is the one, politicians, the security agencies, and all major stakeholders. And what we are trying to do is to talk about the importance of man and why we should love our neighbors as ourselves and see ourselves as one people of one global family. So the approach is different. That is why the lectures, we try to explain the importance of man and try to let you know why you should not harm your brother or why you should live at peace with your brothers. Now, when it comes to election, politicians, or let's say the parliamentarians, are the people who go to their various constituencies, and some even instigate people to rise against their opponents and all those things. Now, if they really understand why they should not rise against their brothers, I think it will save us a lot of money rather than going to where we get clashes and begin to resolve those issues. So what we are trying to do is to prevent any conflict at all. So there should be zero conflict when it comes to elections.
Okay, then.
So this.
But how about the campaign itself? The Global Peace Mission, we know, is spearheading this. Are you partnering with some of the international organizations, particularly when we know that the budget involved is quite a significant amount of money? Are you doing this alone, or you're willing to partner other organizations on this project?
I think global peace is very huge task. And you know the budget involved. It is not something we alone can do. What we have invested in is just the seed money, just to bring everybody on board for us to get to where we really want to get to. So there's going to be partnership with a lot of institutions, a lot of stakeholders, including the media and other governmental agencies all over the world to make sure we get there. And other philanthropists and whoever is interested in peace. And that is why we are trying to bring a lot of people into this particular movement for peace.
It's good that some have actually described the campaign as having a very good timing. If you look at what's happening in the sub-region, West Africa particularly, we're learning of military takeovers. Many are saying democracy is on a decline, it's receding, and that many more countries are facing that threat. Is that what's really underpinning this initiative to move across, not just the sub-region, but across Africa and the rest of the world to talk about peace?
Exactly so. You know, it is not easy to target only one particular area. At certain times, the problems will be coming from other angle whilst we are looking at a different angle. Now, there are a lot of African countries that have been coming to this picture where there's no peace. And today there's this, tomorrow there's this, and you cannot leave Ghana out or other countries who have not been affected by this coup d'etats and all those things. Now, in peace, or for peace, there are a lot of things that we cannot say. There's power in silence. So I cannot talk so much about some strategies on this. But what we are trying to do is to do some underground work to see what we can actually do. So there will be a lot of partnering, putting up some kind of relationship with other major stakeholders. And just as I said, you cannot reveal, when we're talking about peace, you cannot reveal certain things before you implement them. But we are ready, we are seriously ready for everything.
Right, I'm sure that you've been studying this issue of peace all across the world. The experts are divided on the best approach in ensuring global peace. Some draw the nexus to issues of economic stability and the need to create economic opportunities for all. Some say that's the source of our problem here in Africa, and not particularly Ghana as well. Don't you feel that the issue of unemployment could partly be accounting for what we're seeing in recent times?
There's some parts of the world can have these issues of unemployment as the basis for these things. And at certain times, the global economic crunch can also cause a country to suffer this particular kind of disturbances. Because at certain times, the problems, the economic situations that come across or are faced by certain countries as things that cannot be controlled by the countries themselves. And eventually will bring up this kind of disturbances and instability. So what we really talking about now is let there be peace and there should be a way out. And the way out is not only about just preaching peace. That is why there's a need to talk to major stakeholders, especially politicians when it comes to matters regarding this stability.
Right.
Yes.
So let's travel by talking about COVID-19 and what's happening now across the world. Many are saying that many countries are moving into a state where they're simply focused on addressing their internal challenges. The belief is that they may not necessarily want to latch on to this grand idea of a global peace mission, at least not for now, when they're confronted with a series of challenges. Why should the issue of peace be a priority? Why should there be that need for it to be a priority for all governments across the world?
Yeah. To me, absence of war is not peace. But when one is satisfied with his or her circumstances, is where we call peace. So if people are facing certain problems that they have no solution to, it also amounts to this breach of peace. Now, yes. So even talking about HIV, talking about COVID issues, and talking about a lot of diseases the world has no cure to, is also something that might be subjected to something that we must actually look at. Looking at when you get to China, about 40 countries have gone on lockdown because of COVID. And this is actually taking a lot of peace from the country, a lot of peace from the people. So we are talking about having solutions to problems that the world has no answers to, challenges that the world has no solutions to. So it's very broad. It is not only about let's just stop war, let us not fight. It's broad. That is why I was saying that there are a lot I cannot say. But when we are talking about peace, it's when one is satisfied with his or her circumstances.
Right.
So it comes with what we call a comprehensive advocacy strategy. And we call something contributory factorial circumstances. So those contributory factorial circumstances needs to be addressed. And this is the strategy we actually take. We're looking at. There are countries who have been facing this kind of instability and whatever. There's something we call contributory factorial circumstances. And this can come as a result of unemployment, poverty, diseases. There are a lot of issues that come up when we're talking about peace.
Right.
So the global peace is not only just talking about the absence of war, but yes, what we are actually targeting when there's peace everywhere, then we will have the opportunity to divert monies that are being used for wars, resolving wars, and other
issues into development,
crisis.
I guess, yeah.
Yes, we just divert those monies to development,
right,
and even creation of or looking for. Let's come to even COVID. Monies that have been spent on wars alone can develop solutions, can develop medicines to treat COVID. Yes, the monies have been directed to wars, but COVID can be cured. COVID can be prevented. These are some of the issues that we're talking about. So when we get to countries where we think that there's a need to engage people on that particular areas, then we engage them on that.
Okay.
What is specifically to their the problem that is facing that particular side of the war, then we address them.
Professor Toh Duncan, I'm grateful that you've been able to join us here on The Pulse.